Hello amigo, hello there, it's your boy Silenx and you're watching SilenxScripts. You're welcome in my series. Let's learn web design, web development, static web development, and will make our life less miserable. Yes, I changed the intro and that wouldn't matter because in today's episode we're going to be doing something different. We're going to be doing one of the most important properties in CSS, which is the positions property. And then we also have another property which we're going to cover in this video, which is visibility property. These both properties are CSS properties, and like I think visibility is used quite often, but the position properties in CSS, you're going to use that thing like 90 to 80% in time. So yeah, that's absolutely necessary, I guess, and mandatory to learn. Anyway, so we're gonna spend this video to learn those two properties. I have already put the boiler code for you, the boiler HTML code, which you can easily do by typing exclamation remark and then hitting enter, and then I will quickly link my CSS style sheet ./style.css because the style.css is right here. I'm gonna open the style.css in like side by side view so I can look at it correctly. Anyway, we're gonna start with the position property. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna quickly make a division. I'm gonna give it a class name of maybe box1. And I'm not gonna put anything inside of this box. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go here, gonna do box1. This is how you target classes in CSS. If you don't know, you should watch my videos if you don't know. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give this thing a border of 1 pixel solid red. These are the things I already taught you. Is this the okay? I'm not sure. Okay, so what I will do is it will not appear, of course. I need to give it a width of 500 pixel and height of 500 pixel. You can give any height, to be honest. Why is it not appearing here? Okay, it did appear. It was just my page wasn't loaded for some reason. I think live server got lagged, I guess. Anyway, I'm going to turn the height to like 200 pixels, I guess, and the width to 200 as well. Okay, so we have gotten our nice little box here. Now this box isn't the main thing, of course. I'm going to be teaching you about positions property. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do position, and then you can see there are a lot of options. By default, when you don't type position, like you didn't type position, the position by default is always static. So what happens when you use absolute, fixed, relative, and sticky position? These are the things I'm going to teach you in this episode. So when you choose static, nothing will happen to this box. This box will stay the way it is, of course, because this is the default thingy. It already was static before I typed static here. So now I'm going to type not here, of course, not here. Now I'm going to type out position relative. So this is the first position property you're going to learn about. Now what does relative actually do? Now if I save this file, you can see the box didn't even change much, okay? It didn't show any change at all. If I turn this back to static, it would show no change, of course, that's obvious. But now if I try to do top 10 pixels, you will see no difference, right? You didn't see any difference. But if I change the static to relative and then do 10 pixels, then you see the box went down to like 10 pixels. Now if I give this top of 20 pixels, then it goes down and down. And if I do it like a million pixels, then it will just go like very down, I guess. Yeah, it went like into outer space, of course. Now what actually happened here is, so what position relative actually does is it actually takes the original position of the division or of the element and then makes it relative. So when you do top and left, okay, so the division or whatever you have in your HTML will change its position relative to its original position. Alright, I hope you understood that. I'm gonna say it again. When you do property relative, you can use top 10 pixels, bottom 10 pixels, left 10 pixels, and right 10 pixels. So what will happen is when you give it like 10 pixels, 10 pixels, 10 pixels, this means that by relation to the original position of the box, move it 10 pixels from the top, 10 pixels from the bottom, 10 pixels from the left, and 10 pixels from the very right. Now, if you still didn't understood what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna give you more examples in this video, so don't worry about that. You're gonna learn everything, I promise. Anyway, what I'm gonna do is, I think this white canvas is not good to see things at, so what I'm gonna do is make another division inside of the division, and I'm gonna call this division box 2. Okay, I think I can put the CSS here. Yeah, okay. Now, I'm gonna show you something with the box 2. I'm gonna give this a color of background color, and I think tomato, maybe. Tomato doesn't look that bad. I don't know if you are just going blind because of this. I think it looks cool. I'm just gonna drop the color a bit, maybe like this. Yeah, this looks cool. Okay, anyway, now I'm gonna give border box 2 some border so that we can actually see it. And let's see, there it is. I'm just gonna give it some height of 50 pixels. I'm gonna give it a width of 50 pixels. And I'm not gonna give it a border. I'm gonna give it a background color of like maybe pink, because these two colors. Okay, now we have this box inside of this bigger box. Now you're gonna see everything. Now if I do position relative here, and if I do top 10 pixels, 10 pixels. Now you see, I haven't saved this file yet, so no changes have been made into actual web page. So you see, this is the original position of the division, okay? This is the original position of the box. And now that I've provided the position relative property, what would happen is this box would move relative to its original like placement, to its original place in the page, okay? So this is the original place, and if I do position relative top 10, then it should come down 10 pixels, which will of course happen. So that is how position relative works. Now the second thing is position absolute. Now as soon as I did position absolute, you see it, the pink box just went right to the very top left corner of the box. Now this is something provided by CSS by default, that whenever you provide position absolute thingy, it goes to like maximum top right corner, top left corner I mean. Now that you've provided the absolute position, what you can actually do is, when we were using relative position, what was happening was we were using the like the original position of the box to move it. But now that we are using position absolute, what we can do is we can give it top 10%, and what would happen is it will now move not relative to its original position, but relative to this point right here, okay? So I think that might sound confusing to look at it like the first time, but let me explain it one more time. What is happening is, you're not actually using the original position to move anymore. You're just using the absolute position. The absolute position is this. So think of this as a coordinate system. This is the starting position. If I do top 10%, then it would move 10% downwards from this point, okay? This point right here. Now if I do this, I can show you this better. If I do bottom, wait for a second, bottom 10%. So what is happening now, this is taking the absolute position as this one. In simple words, when you do position absolute, you have this entire canvas to move in. So if I do left 10%, then it becomes left 10% from this side, okay? So now, as the position relative is done, we're gonna move on to position absolute. Now if I provide this box, the box 2, the box in pink color, position absolute, what would happen is, you didn't see any change, but what I'm going to do is top 0, left 0. Now you see the box 2, which is supposed to be inside of the box 1, just moved out of the box 1 and went to the very top left corner of the screen. Now why did that happen? Because whenever you provide position absolute, when we were using position relative, the box was moving relative to its original position. But when you do position absolute, the box moves relative to the screen. Okay, so if I do right now, I've provided it bottom top 0 left 0. It means from the top give 0 spacing, from the left give 0 spacing, and if I do bottom 0, then it will go to this place in the screen, 0 spacing from the bottom, and then 0 spacing from the left. Now you know how to use absolute. But what if I want this thing, this big box 1, to become the parent? Now when you do position absolute, what happens is you need the parent division, the parent box. Like box 1 is a parent for box 2. So whenever you're trying to put absolute position and you want this child box to be move inside of this box and not like along the screen, what you actually do is you give the parent box any position, you can give it absolute, you can give it fixed, you can give it relative, you can give it sticky, but not static. Give it anything rather than static. So I'm gonna give it relative, and now you see the pink box is moving, or you can say is positioning itself with its like relevance to the bigger box, the parent box, which has non-static position. Okay, so if I do top 0 now, this would go to the top of only this box, and it did. Now that we have done position absolute and relative, we're gonna move to the next position, which is gonna be fixed. Now why does this position matters? Now what I can do is I can say that body, as you know, body is the element in HTML. You can give it a property called height. What would it do is I'm gonna give it like maybe 500 pixels. What would happen is you get this scroll bar. Okay, here you get the scroll bar. Now what I'm gonna do is, now for this thing to happen, what is gonna be happening is whenever you put the position fixed, it goes to like top left corner. It doesn't listen to this position relative of the parent box. Okay, so it goes to like maximum position. Why? I'm gonna tell you. When I scroll this down, you see this box doesn't scroll up as the pink box does, because this has the position property of fixed, which will just fix it on the position it is no matter how much you scroll. So yeah, this is how you do it. Position fixed, I could give it like top 10 pixel, 10 pixel, and then I can give it left top 10 pixel, and it would come down this position, but still when I scroll it would stay in that position. Now we have done the fixed position. I'm gonna do the sticky position, which is, you can actually, when you hover over a position like this, autocomplete, the Visual Studio Code is actually gonna show you the very helpful tooltip, which is the box position is calculated along according to the normal flow. The box is offset relative to its flow and root containing block in all cases. So let me tell you, so I just told you that fixed means like if I do top 0 left 0, it goes straight to the like top left corner. What if you don't want it to go to the top left corner? I just told you when you give the parent box a position of relative or absolute, the relative or absolute actually become, if I put like absolute here, this will move accordingly to this box. Okay, but if I do fixed here, this will move accordingly to the screen. What if I want this to have some kind of fixed position which moves accordingly to box 1? Don't mind me tripping, I have been recording for a while now. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to type sticky here, and what would happen is now it works same as fixed, but when you move it down, you see it stays inside of that box. It's fixed to its position, but only inside of the box. So one thing that you need to know is, in order for the position sticky to work, your parent box doesn't really need to have absolute or relative position. It's only required when your position is either when you want to do absolute position inside of another box, you need to give the parent box position absolute or relative as well. So now we have done all of the positions, let's get a quick recap. So the first position that we learned about was absolute position, which throws the whatever element you want to throw to the very top left corner. And if you're wondering why it's not on the very extreme top left corner and why it has spacing in between, because by default your browser gives automatic margin to everything. So what I can do is do margin 0, and this would go to the top left corner. Now position absolute throws your box or element to the top left corner, or you can say it starts the element to move relative to the screen position, the screen. Okay, the next was the relative position, which makes your which makes your element move relative to its original position. The next one was fixed, which means your element will be fixed no matter how much you want to scroll. I need to do height 500 pixels, I guess. You go down, it's fixed in its place no matter what. And if I do position sticky, then it stays sticky. I think I should do position sticky at this one box, and I should do position fixed at this box as well. Okay, so if I do position fixed on this box, it will stay here. Now you can actually see it staying there. And if I do sticky, then what would happen is it would stay fixed inside of its parent, but when the parent is being scrolled up, it will also go up. So yeah, that was all for positions, but also I told you that I'm going to teach you something about visibility. I'm not going to do that in this episode because I think I should do that in next episode. Next episode will make more sense if I do it. And positions were a really, I think they give you headache, but they're also very important. So I just wanted to get them out of the way. So now that they're out of the way, I can finally get onto display. So in the very next episode, we're going to learn about the CSS properties, visibility, and display. So without any further ado, why am I saying this in the outro? Anyway, that was all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched till the end, if you want, you can leave down a comment down below and tell me how I can improve in whatever I'm doing. If you liked my video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more of my courses, I'm going to do Python, Java, and JavaScript courses ahead in the time. So if you want to stay up for that, please make sure you hit that sub button. That would help a lot. Anyway, that was all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care for yourself and your family. Silenx, signing off.